Yo, what's up, guys? This is Limited Talks here, and today we're talking about Birds of Prey. Once again, Birds of Prey is in the news once again because of damage control. Of course it is. I mean, why would it not be? This movie was released about a year ago, almost, and there's been more news about Birds of Prey than like Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2. Like, why are we continue to talk about Birds of Prey? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what doesn't make any sense about Birds of Prey is Birds of Prey was a movie that came out pre-pandemic. This movie should have made at least $500 million because of the star power of Margot Robbie herself. Like, Margot Robbie is a very popular actress, and when this movie came out, I would think this movie would have been probably pretty solid. But then kind of came out these articles of Ewan McGregor spewing about like this is gonna talk about misogyny, talk about masculinity, and then it's like as the movie came out, they kind of said like, oh, this is not for you guys. Like if you don't, guys shouldn't need to watch this movie. So what the guys do? Some of the guys just didn't go watch the movie, and then they say like, "Oh, guys, please come watch the movie. Like, please, we need your money." But it's like at that point, it was already too late. Too late at that point, and it's one of those things of people don't want to go see a movie and then be lectured about something. Like, I don't want to go watch a movie for me to go then and say, "Oh yeah, you should enjoy this movie because you need to like this movie." But anyway, this will make a little bit. Uncle come from bounding in the comics. Cath Yan, who is actually the director of Birds of Prey, cites Warner Bros. Creative control as reason Birds of Prey failed. Now, I don't know what she means by creative control. Does that mean like commercials? I saw so many freaking commercials of Birds of Prey. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why. Like, why continue having even have more damage control going against you? Like, you're not you. There's not a chance she might not get another job in Hollywood just because her movie was just not great. Like, a movie was all right in some cases, but it just wasn't anything like mind blowing. Anyway, so damage control for the performance of Birds of Prey continues a year after it came and went from theaters. Like, yeah, like this movie came out pre-pandemic. Like, that's the thing I don't understand too. It's like, why would you then go and then say that, oh, Birds of Prey, like Birds of Prey came out pre-pandemic, and then they're blaming the fact of like that, oh, it was because of the pandemic that this movie failed. Like, no, it came out pre-pandemic. Talking to the players, director Cath Yan said one of us got the way, but insinuated it might have been better if she had creative control. Like, so pretty much she's saying like, oh, it's not my fault this movie failed. It's the creative team. Like, the creative team pushed your movie out so much. Like, they pushed this movie to the max. Like, there was so many commercials of Birds of Prey that I was surprised the fact that she's even blaming them still. Like, you can't blame Warner Brothers for the creative control. They did their job. They did what they had to do, right? It was definitely challenging, said Yang. Dead Pigs, her debut feature, was just a singular, pure version of myself. She continued, and I think that you're dealing with a budget like Birds of Prey had, and the sort of pressure of a studio, especially a studio that is undergoing a lot of change. Inevitably, you end up comprising and fight for stuff, and you win some and you lose a lot. It's just kind of how it is. So then you can say over the edit and Cindy Wonderful. They made a cut of Suicide Squad, which she champions. As player, Zack Snyder got complete his version of Justice League. I'm excited to see that movie. I really do want to see how that one actually does. David Ayer being allowed the same luxury with CW restoring a director's vision. Lang isn't sure what happened with Birds of Prey, which experienced issues of reshoots like the other two films, supervised by some coordinating John Wick director Chad Zelinsky. Which you can actually tell the fight scenes between the John Wick director and then the other directors who like who were the action coordinates. Like you could just tell, like some of the action scenes, you can tell were made by John Wick versus the other two. I don't know if there's a Cath Yan cut out there. I hope there isn't. But I think for any other film filmmaker, all of us are in it because we want to express ourselves as wholly as possible, she said, and to match what you ultimately see on screen with what's in our head. Like, isn't ruled out doing another blockbuster or working with one again, as long as she finds it so compelling and has a bit more control over the story I'm telling. That doesn't make any sense though. Like that's a dumb thing to say. Like why? Like okay, listen. Pretty much what you're saying is you're blaming Warner Bros. For not giving you enough control, even though you're the director. The director has the most control over any project. So that doesn't make any sense. Like, so you mean to tell me like that? Like, they're the ones that made the movie. They're the ones. Again, directors should have a complete control of the editing software of what gets cut, what gets put in. They can kind of look over, make sure that everything looks good. But it just doesn't make any sense of why the heck you want to continue to do those things. The MH review sounded off on Yang's comments in a recent news video. He called her commentary damage control and hilarious. This is damage control, pretty much. He's saying like, oh, it's one of us fault that this was a bomb. Like this was their fault. It was Sonic's fault that this was a bomb. It was men that made this a bomb. Which he said she's on record saying that the pitch for Birds of Prey was a sizzle reel of moments depicting as he's supposed to woman power, man bad, or everything anti-female. It was Miss Andrew. So pretty much is women good, men bad, men suck. Don't go out here and watch this movie if you don't want to watch this movie. And people just didn't go watch the movie. Even women. Consequently, he finds it hard to blame the studio in most respects, with their meddling is fact of life, and directors getting a final cut is rare. Don't love you pitches them anyway. Hate man, girl power. He said later, pointing out nobody wanted to see her movie men or women, which is true. Like, this is something that's wrong, which doesn't make any sense. For me, for this final cut, like, this was a rated R film. Like this is kind of like the Deadpool situation, right? Where Deadpool made a ton of money and Birds of Prey didn't. And now you can go back and say like, well, Deadpool's a more popular character. Well, Harley Quinn, I would imagine, is a more recognizable character than Deadpool. Like I love Deadpool, but like if you never knew who Deadpool was, you would probably remember him from X-Men Origins. That was the original time people actually saw Deadpool, and he wasn't great. Well, he wasn't great. So what's not to say that this movie did not have the control. It didn't have the control to actually do what you had to do, and then you're gonna say you cannot continue to blame others for your oversight, for your misguidance. That's what she did. Warner is to blame insofar as they greenlighted. They're idiots. They never should have greenlighted in the first place, said Mr. Hayes, adding as proud as Yang was of a Sizzleville and work on the film. Walking back her sentiments looks bad, which is true. I mean, the movie just wasn't pitched that great. I mean, again, it should have been a Harley Quinn movie, not a Harley Quinn and then the Birds of Prey. Because remember, like the original title, they put out Harley Quinn and then one fabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I think that's something like that. But then it kind of became Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey because that wasn't the title was just bad. Again, this was just something that they can't continue to damage control this movie. This movie was already a bomb after the fact. Like this movie bombed. There's nothing you can do about it. But it fell well below expectations as a box office. Upon opening weekend, when it was released, COVID hadn't knocked the entire world off its axis yet, so the pandemic cannot exactly be blamed. Exactly. They continue to blame COVID, and COVID wasn't even hit yet. This was pre-COVID. Like this and Sonic was pre-COVID, and Sonic they make more money. I don't know Sonic make more money. I think Sonic they make more money. So Birds of Prey, enjoyed some success on the video on demand market, but would have gone down as the worst rated loser of 2020 for DC films, if not for Wonder Woman 1984, which God, that movie was so bad. when you look at the numbers, Wonder Woman 1984 was a bigger disaster in every primary due to the fact that it not recouping its budget. Although it has epidemic as an excuse statewide, the sequel did very poorly overseas, especially in China, when logically it shouldn't have. Also got lower among viewers on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb than any other DCEU ECU entry. But meanwhile, managed to eke out a modest 201 million statewide on a reported $82 million budget. That side, we probably won't see any follow-ups. Oh, we're gonna get something. We're gonna get something. I know for sure we're gonna get something. It's gonna be interesting. But this is another article too I was looking at. It's called the Fidelis, which is box office data proved that it wasn't men who tanked Birds of Prey. Now, I can already tell the fact that it wasn't just men, because this movie already was targeted, because Harley Quinn is probably popular among young girls. So when this movie came out, and in fact it was rated R, young girls couldn't go watch Harley Quinn. They couldn't watch her do that one scene where she was sniffing cocaine. Yes, that was a scene. This was a scene in Birds of Prey. So, of course, young girls just couldn't go out and watch that movie. Like, parents won't make them go watch it. Two, men did in fact turn out to see the movie. Of course, men did go see this movie. Audience measures show that more than half of the film attendees were male, at 54%. Claims that male entertainment bias were unfairly dumping on the movie also failed to land, as Rotten Tomatoes scored a very strong 80% with a matching audience score. Any harsh criticisms were solely drowned out by praise. So again, you can't blame men, because men went to the movie and they rated your movie pretty highly. So by blaming men, you're continuing to shift the blame into something that doesn't exist. So absent sexist excuses, what went wrong? The first issue of the basic fact that the movie context was muddled. The film centered on Harley Quinn, but was named after her supporting staff, which again, why name it a Birds of Prey movie? Name it a Harley Quinn movie. That would have made this movie, I think, 10 times better. It was just focused on Harley Quinn and her misadventures. And hyenas. I mean, if the hyenas were in there, I think we would give the movie a 10 out of 10, but it wasn't. It was not so primarily featured. Again, the characters were just kind of there, right? Like, they didn't get their costumes to the beginning of the movie, and their costumes were garbage. Like, they were bad. Like, what the hell? Who was the costume designer? Like who made these costumes? Some were confused by Quinn's presence, while others felt she had a reduced role. This is evidenced by the fact that Warner Bros. Later titled the movie Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, which should have been the movie in the first place, because this movie should have been a Harley Quinn movie by itself. Like, it was a Harley Quinn standalone movie, because Joker had one, made a ton of money. Let's give Harley Quinn her own movie. And Birds of Prey could be like a separate movie. Make that their own movie. Because again, it's not the Birds of Prey are not like a Prey. They're not. You probably know some of the characters, but you probably don't know all of them. Because again, give them their own origin stories, so that way you know who they are. You say may have also been problematic. This weekend was the academical awards, but this was actually, when was it? This article was released back in February 14th, but I'm just kind of using this article as a primary base. Going a notorious slower weekend in theaters, but one that actually just helps film markets recognize females do not go to the movies the Sunday of the Oscars. The biggest selling block, however, may have been the content. So while Conway realized that teenage boys were not motivated to go to the movie, he failed to measure that the most could not go. Again, Birds of Prey is a rated R movie, so the under 18 crowd was largely prevented from attending. Exit measures show that the 17 and under audience was about 9%. Which again, kids can go watch this movie. Kids and younger girls cannot go watch this movie. So because again, you can't focus on like boys, right? You can't focus on the guys, because guys can't even go watch this movie. Like teenagers, you got to be proving the fact you're 18 or older to go watch Birds of Prey, and that failed to hit. And I guess like, not unless you want to take your 14-year-old daughter to watch Birds of Prey and see Harley Quinn sniff cocaine, then that's another thing too. Harley Quinn is very popular with girls because of the TV anime series that featured her. Well, not the most recent one, the older one. The newer one is kind of a little slow something. That built-in audience was all but cut out by alternative of attending the film. Features cannot be attributed to toxic sexism, but rather mostly to studios' decisions and the development of the property in general. When feminists make irrational, emotion-based measurements of an industry, however, they're unlikely to listen to any amount of statistical analysis, just like the studio continue to push a feminist product that consistently fails to deliver. So again, this article again pretty much is saying like they can't continue to blame men or continue to blame men. They can't blame Sonic. You can't blame the pandemic. You cannot continue to blame everyone but yourself. This movie should have been a smashing success because of Margot Robbie and of who she plays. She plays Harley Quinn, one of the most popular DCEU characters. It just doesn't make any sense. This movie should have been a smashing success. A smashing success. But it wasn't. And Warner Brothers, I don't know what you're going to do about a sequel, if they're actually going to do a sequel. But hopefully the fact that they're going to make some mistakes to make a actual good film. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. Peace. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. I would really appreciate it if you leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think of the video. Alright, see you guys tomorrow.